Hey, look at that, we're live.
All right, we showing live, and I'm showing live on here. All right, my people, come on. YouTube taking this sweet ass time today. There we go. All right, people, we are live today. This is the weekly Syndi-Comics Streamly. It's one of those days. Um, but we've been absent for a couple of weeks because we kind of wanted to take some time too. Last week was all Kyle's fault because
It
he was gone. He was on vacation. So somebody kept asking me. I think it was on the Syndi-Comics page. Why aren't you guys doing it today? I'm like, there's a reason. We need to take time. We need to make sure. No, that's all a lie. It's all because of Kyle.
was.
Um, I know me and BJ were pretty much ready, but it was like, come on, and the last second to the day of, we're supposed to go on the stream. I can't make it, guys. um, but it's all good. And actually, it actually gave me a little bit of better time to look through my stuff too. Actually, for the last week, just to make sure I had what I really wanted, because I had something come in really nice this last week. So, kind of
Nice.
want to share that with you guys. But hey, Kiwi, and hey, Keyshawn, welcome in, guys. Um,
What's going on, guys?
but so tonight is the best of 2018 so far. There's been a lot of great books out there. The way we're going to do it tonight is we're going to go through each category that we all went through, and we said, hey, these are what we thought was the best categories. That might change come the January episode of this, because when we do the best of 2018 for the whole year. So we're just going to go through these a little bit and see what we got. So, without further ado, we're not going to go to that yet because I saw a picture today that should make Kyle really excited. The Superior Octopus today.
Oh, I did see that. I did see this. Yeah, I'm curious to see. Have they announced who the creators on that are?
Not yet. Not that I've seen yet. I'm not seeing the creators, the artists, inkers, nothing yet. But if they're actually going to keep the storyline with that, it's going to be pretty decent because they were hinting at it in ASM. That when he went to that facility, at the end, I think it was at 800 or 801. He said, "Hey, I'm going to be here now," and they were showing him around, and nobody knew who he really was. You know, but he's just like, okay, yeah, I'll be here. I'm gonna figure something else out.
Right. Which is yeah, like cause that was actually like the probably the arc I enjoyed the most of ASM recently is when Peter actually faced off against Superior Octopus. It just sucked that it was in the middle of Secret Empire, and it felt like Dan Slott had some really good ideas for a Superior Octopus. Because I mean, yeah, I think that's like Doc Ock had been like in the living brain for what 3 years now during
Mm-hmm.
ASM. Once Peter regained his body after Superior Spider-Man, so like it really sucked watching. I feel like Dan Slott had been building up to that, and then all of a sudden they were like, "Oh, we're going to do the Secret Empire event, so you have to somehow tie that into this." And so I kind of hope Slott. I know there's been a lot of people on this in the comics. Like I get it. People are tired of Slott. He's written Amazing Spider-Man for a really long time. I personally really like Dan Slott. I do feel like some of his ideas were hit or miss, but Superior Spider-Man is still to this day one of my favorite storylines for Spider-Man. And so I kind of hope he gets a shot at this because I think there's a lot more to tell of Superior Octopus, like with his kind of reign of Hydra. Um, yeah, no, I'm actually really excited for it.
Yeah, and I kind of liked how they did it during the Red Goblin, where he actually saves, Aunt May at the end, and it's funny because like they were hinting at the whole marriage thing all over again, with Aunt May and Doc Ock again.
Yep.
But he even said, "I am a different person now. I'm not the same person I was before." It changed him to be a better, almost hero. He's kind of like Venom, always, in a way. He's that anti-hero kind of guy. He's not going to be completely perfect. He's trying to do better, but at the same
Right.
time, everybody remembers who he was before, so they're all kind of waiting to see, is he going to return to that same way he was before, or how is he going to do it? So I'm kind of excited to see how that book takes off.
Yep.
Um, and I'm kind of with you. I wish Dan Slott would be able to do that one, but I got a feeling they're going to give it to somebody else. And I hope it's not Nick Spencer.
Yeah. I haven't read ASM 1 yet, but I don't know.
I haven't yet either. I got to pick it up. I read the Free Comic Book Day version that came out. It was okay. That was about it.
I really like that one, and you may actually see that one a little bit later.
Yeah, I mean, it was. I guess it also goes back to, is my favorite series was the McFarlane series for Spider-Man. So when I think of Spider-Man, I always go to Mark Bagley, Todd McFarlane, those kind of runs, John Romita, those kind. It's just, I hated the J. Michael Straczynski era. I hated that with a passion. So when I started reading some of Dan Slott's, it was good, refreshing, to have a new storyline, especially I came in and read Superior Spider-Man. That was the first exposure to Dan Slott. So to me, I had to go back and read more, of course, before then to learn. But I never want to see Michael Straczynski ever again touch Spider-Man. I'll take Nick Spencer any day over Straczynski.
I'm curious to see what Spencer can bring to it, and I'm sure we'll get into this more. But yeah, I'm curious to see what him and Ryan Ottley, because already I'm seeing Ryan Ottley is drawing Spider-Man like Mark from Invincible. Like, if you look at Peter Parker, he looks like Mark from Invincible. Mm-hmm. And Invincible is one of my all-time favorite comics, so it's going to be very hard for me to look at his writing style or his drawing style and not see Invincible. And then Spencer, I've never been a huge fan of. Morning Glories is okay as far as his indie scene. I wasn't a big fan of the direction that he took Cap. I wasn't a big fan of Secret Empire. So I'm very hesitant. I really liked the Free Comic Book Day issue. I thought that was a very interesting take. It seemed like he was taking Spider-Man back to like the very New York centric roots of Spider-Man, which I'm excited to see. But yeah, I'm very hesitant on Spencer writing.
Well, I will say, what I read, the Free Comic Book Day version, it had that neighborhood Spider-Man feel. It isn't the, hey, I'm going out to go destroy everything, or beat everybody up that's at the higher Iron Man levels and stuff like that. No, he's just going around beating up thugs and crooks, putting pictures on people again.
Yep, and trying to come up with rent money.
Yep. So like I said, I'm really excited for it. And most likely what's going to happen is I'll probably like the Octopus probably more than I will ASM, just because I like that storyline and that dynamic of Doc Ock. But we shall see, because there's been a lot of stuff come out the last 3 or 4 weeks that we've been gone. And it has been crazy. And I kind of wanted to talk about that. DC hasn't had a whole lot, but Marvel's had a ton of stuff. We're talking Thor. We're talking Avengers. We're talking Immortal Hulk. We're talking Captain America #1 came out last week. Yep. And there's been stories upon stories upon stories coming out, and they've been really good too. That's the catch-22. Is that I hate to say this, and we've been bashing Marvel for a long time on here.
We have.
This is probably what they actually needed to do, is not just change the actual numbering and all that, legacy and stuff, is change the creative teams, and it seemed like it's brought a lot of life into the books, especially in Thor with Jason Aaron. Oh my God, that's been amazing. Same way with
Aaron's been on Mighty Thor for a while though, hasn't he? Because he was doing the whole spoilers, Jane Foster, right?
He was, yes, he was doing the Jane Foster, but that was he didn't get it. He pretty much got it at the Jane Foster level, when it first started. He never had a chance to actually do the proper Mighty Thor, So, and I kind of like how they're telling the storyline, because it's like, hey, we've got Malekith trying to destroy everything, and he's going through all the different eras of trying to take over, and he's got all these like minions and all the worlds for him trying to help out. And Thor is kind of cool because he's actually saying, "No, screw you, Malekith. I'm going to kill you. I'm going to go out and get you. Kind of thing." So they're actually trying to find them first is number one. And it's actually cool because if everybody read Donny Cates' Doctor Strange with Loki in it, Loki, of course, was the Sorcerer Supreme for a while. And Loki's actually a good guy in Thor, ironically. Now, we all know that this could change at any moment because Loki's perpetual in that. But so far, he's been good. And the cool part is they brought back a lot of the old characters. Balder the Brave, they brought back the Executioner. They brought back some Hela. They brought her back finally. So Surtur's daughter, is actually trying to take over all of Hell. So it's kind of a cool story that they're doing with Thor. Immortal Hulk, on the other hand, is went back to brutal, destroy everything Hulk. Yep. Except he knows what he's doing. That's the catch-22. It's almost like he's bipolar because he knows exactly what he's doing when he's Bruce Banner, and he also knows what he's doing as the Hulk. But then Bruce starts, he has that conscious problem of being when he's not hulked out. It's crap. I did all that. Does that make me a bad person? So he's consciously thinking of like what I did. The Hulk doesn't care. He's like beat bad people up. They deserve it. Which has always been his motto. But Bruce is trying to change that dynamic a little bit. And my favorite part is no more Amadeus Cho as the Hulk right now. I think he's supposed to show up in another comic down the road, but I'm okay. Bruce Banner is my Hulk, And then the other one that was really good that I read last week was The Champions from Infinity Countdown. That was a really good story. I've not read the new Darkhawk yet, but the last two, the Darkhawk 2 and Champions 1, were really good books. And funny, me and BJ were kind of talking about it too, is that they have a misprint on Champions number 2. They actually had Chad Bowers on the cover on it, and it's funny because I was like, I read it yesterday, I'm like, this ain't Chad's writing. I can kind of tell Chad's writing when I read a book, especially like The Young Blood or something like that now. I can tell his writing style. I'm like, you didn't write that. And then all it was actually just a misprint on the cover. So I'm all about variant covers. So hopefully they'll come out with a new of it, and that they'll have the correct people on it. But so what do you think, BJ?
Sure. No, I like the Champions. I haven't got the second one yet. I haven't read Cosmic Ghost Rider either. That one came out about 2 weeks ago, and a lot of people are liking that. I just finished up reading the Darkhawk one, and it had a nice little spoiler at the end. That was pretty cool. So I was like, man, we're just bringing it back to when I just turned 11 years old and reading Marvel Comics, collecting again. So.
You're talking about Sleepwalker.
Yeah.
Chad spoiled that today. He put a picture right on the page. And I was like, holy crap, we got all the only thing we don't have now is Secret Defenders. Remember we had that when it first came out in the 90s? Yeah. You had Sleepwalker, you had Darkhawk, you had Secret Defenders. I'm like, all right, they all just need to show up. What's the next book? What's the next one going to be? It's like everything in the 90s is out again, and it's kind of a cool feeling, to read some of these storylines. So it's like Moon Knight, Moon Knight hadn't had a real story in almost 20 years. So they brought him back this year, and that show has been crazy. I mean, that dude is so messed up in the head, it's not funny. And just kind of a spoiler for the current, the last book, what do you do when you put Moon Knight's 4 personalities into another mind? Into a mind that's composed of 30 other people's minds? It doesn't end well. That's all I got to say. I'm not going to spoil the rest of it, but it's a freaking great story. All right, so other than that, BJ's been putting lots of links out there for all these good deals on Amazon, so everybody keep your eyes out on it. I went to go get Invincible, and it was gone. So I'm going to try it again tomorrow. Maybe it'll be back out there again. Because I've not read it since the original series came out, when Mark Waid and those guys did it. So I want to definitely pick that up. And then I've also got to beat up Kyle because of all the Hellboys that I pre-ordered. So I pre-ordered all 6 of them. I got the 4 omnibuses that that's coming out, and then the 2 short stories books that comes out.
Yep.
So yeah, it's all Kyle's fault. But I love Mignola. I always have. I still have a couple of the old Hellboy #1s still for that reason.
Nice.
But it's one of those things. It's like it was. I remember when you were talking about. I think it was about a month and a half ago when that first one came out, and it was just like, I gotta be good. Crap. I'm screwed. I'm just gonna do it.
Yeah, I get emails from Image, and then there are like Prime deals like before the Prime Day is going on. So I just grab the link and send it right through.
Yep, I took advantage of the low. Yeah, everybody out there, if anybody's watching it, buy Deadly Class. It's $5 freaking. It's one of the. It's my favorite all-time comic series ever. Buy it. And I ended up buying the low one today as soon as you posted that because I have all the trade paperbacks, but I really wanted that hardcover for $25.
Yeah.
Can't beat it. This thing is the first 3 volumes all in there, so can't beat that at all.
Cool. Nice.
Now all they need to do is put Hellspawn's hardcover out there, and I'll be good because that's the only one I'm looking for. Because the other Spawn books I got, already. So it's like, all right, I've got everything to Matina's stuff now. I'm like, I just need that Hellspawn from Stephen Niles and Ben Templesmith.
Right.
And Alice Wood. I was like, that's all I want. I want that one set. It's $180 for that damn book right now. I'm not going to spend that on a book, If it's a Silver Age or something like that, maybe,
Right.
But a hardcover, not so much.
Not a hardcover trade.
No. All right. With that being said, talking about books, let's get to our best of this year.
Yes.
All right. Best of 2018 from the Syndi-Comics.
Far.
All right. So
we got to put on a suit and tie for this?
Well, it's only the mid-year. These aren't the official best ones. This is mid-year.
Oh, okay.
So far, best of 2018 so far.
All right, so khakis and a dress-up shirt. Got it.
This ain't the Cincy Awards, man. We ain't getting dressed up. You're asking a redneck to dress up. No, unless I'm going to a wedding or a funeral, that's about it.
Oh, my.
So, Kyle, we're going to start with you. We're going to start with first category, best Marvel book of the year so far.
All right. So I was texting BJ this afternoon about this. This was my hardest category, only because I don't really read a whole lot of Marvel. I read Spider-Man and I read Daredevil. That's about it. And Captain America just started up, so I haven't really read that. So I really didn't have a whole lot to choose from. So I'm going off of kind of what I'm anticipating. So my best of so far is the free comic book day issue of Amazing Spider-Man. The reason for this being is because with Dan Slott, while I enjoyed the Superior Octopus run, I really felt it was hampered by the had to tying into Secret Empire. I didn't care for Secret Empire. I really like the Red Goblin storyline. I enjoy it, but it's not one of my favorites. I am extremely interested to see where this goes. Like I said at the beginning, I'm not a huge Nick Spencer fan, but I'm a massive Ryan Ottley fan. And I want to give them the benefit of the doubt. And I thought that, like, for all the complaints I had about Dan Slott's Amazing Spider-Man, as far as it being too world-encompassing, it really felt like Nick Spencer and Ryan Ottley were really taking him back to New York, really taking him back to his roots. And I actually really enjoyed this, and especially it being a free issue. I thought this was like one of the better free comic book day issues I had seen from Marvel. So for that, I'm giving that my best of so far 2018.
And just a reminder, you can have ties because they're, like me and BJ have a lot. We read a lot of Marvel. So if you have ties, any category, you can. That's fine. All right, BJ, what's your best Marvel book of the year so far?
I'm gonna go with Domino.
Nice.
Gail Simone and David Baldeon is doing a pretty good job with it, and you can't beat the Greg Land covers. It's pretty cool how they're bringing some backstories on and having an all-female lead with their own kind of side characters and side group going on, and with just a small second would have been Astonish and X-Men. This is the variant cover from last week's, but switching over to it was Rosenberg and Land doing the whole penciling for this one. I think they did a good transition just to do that, and especially bringing new characters into, a new team, as they said, for this next volume, I guess.
And that's kind of an interesting thing. I haven't seen that done in comic books in a lot of years, where they do 10, 11, 12 issues and then change out the whole team. Not just the actual characters, but the actual writing and artist team, and they keep it going.
Yeah.
It reminds me like when we had Marvel Comic Presents, back in the 90s. They would switch up with Sam Keith and Dan Keown, and everybody and their brother went through it. So I was like, it's kind of cool. I like how they did it. And they brought Dazzler back. That was one of my favorite characters from the 80s. I was like, come on, you got Alison Blair back. It was awesome. I remember I read that one-shot special they had about a month ago, and that was amazing. I was like, I'm so excited. It's like having the action back in the Outback again. I'm like, all right, come on, Dazzler.
Yeah.
So, all right, 1 second. All right, so I have 2 for Marvel, and they're not X books either. So there was a 2-way tie. Immortal Hulk #1.
Nice.
That was my one of mine. And then of course Donny Cates doing Venom. I was so excited when I heard he was coming to go do Venom, because I knew the story would be amazing, and it has been. It's been freaking crazy in that book, especially with them bringing back the original, symbiote god. Like who started symbiotes, and they're talking about the story on it. So I highly recommend it, that everybody go read Venom, because it's amazing. And good luck finding some of the copies now. A lot of them are out of print real fast. Like #1, out of print. #2, out of print. #3 is almost out of print now. Like they had ordered 50 copies of it at my LCS, and they were down to the last 2 the other day. And they're limiting it 1 per person on the first prints of those. So it's a great series, a great read, and I highly recommend that from Marvel. By the end of the year, though, it might change with the whole extermination event that's about to happen, because I'm getting all giddy about having Rachel and Ahab and everybody else back from the 80s. But we shall see. So, next category, Best DC Book. Kyle.
All right, so I had a little bit of trouble with DC. It came down to 2 titles, one being Batman White Knight, and the other one being the one I picked. And the reason I didn't pick Batman White Knight is because I haven't finished it. So I'm waiting for the trade for that to come out for me to finish it, and I don't think that ships until like October. So I have a feeling that will more than likely, from what I have read of it, that'll probably be my best stuff you see for the whole year. But for the half year, I have to go with Batman, the Dark Prince Charming. For those of you guys that don't know, this was Enrico Martini, I think his name is. He's a big Italian, a lot of graphic novels, a lot of Italian comics. He was given free reign to do this Batman book. It doesn't tie into anything in the Batman universe. It's its own one-shot. And so it's actually 2 hardcovers. The first one came out in November of last year. This one came out just a couple weeks ago, and this is awesome. It's a very simple, straightforward story, but the portrayal of Batman, the portrayal of Joker, the portrayal of Harley Quinn, who I'm honestly not a big Harley Quinn fan, but I really enjoyed the way he wrote Harley Quinn. And the way that all the characters interacted. I loved his Catwoman was in this as well. This just felt like almost like an episode of the animated series, which I grew up loving. And so I love this book. I think I gave this on Comic Book Roundup a 10 out of 10. Gave it a 5 stars on Goodreads. I love this book. They're a little bit hard to come by. I think the first issue of this is going for about $50. I think cover price is only $12.99. I know they're bringing out a hardcover edition that collects both of them, like back I think in November. So you can find it at your local comic book shop. It's a fantastic read. It's a lot of fun. It's very simple, very straightforward. Only 2 issues. Get the whole story. Doesn't tie anything else. Doesn't have any implications on anything else. But this was my DC book of the year so far.
All right, so let's take one breath on that because I do want to talk about Batman. You know I was going there. But first, I want to introduce everybody to Iron Patriot. If you've not seen him before, he's our good buddy David. He helps out moderate on Josh Pence's or Foxy for Reals, who are all good friends of ours. So, Iron Patriot, welcome in.
Does he moderate or does he like kind of antagonize other people in Josh's live stream? Because I feel like he antagonizes. I'm just kidding, Iron. I love you, man.
That's his job. That's what he's supposed to. That's what he got hired to do. So I wanted to talk Batman for a second because we didn't get a chance to talk about Batman last week, and it's Batman 50 and the atrocity that happened in Batman 50. And this is why I don't like King. Period. I read the book. And I returned the book, to say the truth. I would take it right back to my LCS and said, "This is utter crap. Here you go." And you have $3.99, credit back. And the reason why I'm saying that is because King had this big ramp up story for 50 issues of the wedding of Catwoman and Batman. And at the last second, no, we ain't going to do that. We're going to go a different direction. To me, that pisses on the fandom, is what that does. Because you've had a lot of people that's been supporting King through that run, and you don't do that to the fans. We all had an expectation, that Kitty Pryde and Colossus were not going to get married. We knew that it was going to be it wasn't going to happen. They've been hinting at it through that whole storyline. It's probably not going to happen. So it was cool that, at the end of it, Gambit and Rogue got married. Which that needed to happen. It's been 30 years in the making, so I was glad to see it actually happen. But when King did that kind of, like I said, to me, it irritated the crap out of me as a reader. I don't even read Batman, and I've been reading that whole saga, because I've always wanted to see Batman and Catwoman get married. That was like cool way they did it. And I saw the writing and the saying as you read through it that yes, it's not going to happen. But don't hype it up the way that DC hyped it up. That's something you just don't do. What are you guys' thoughts on that?
I haven't enjoyed King's writing on Batman since the second issue. You guys have seen my reviews. I'm not a King fan. I love King. I love Tom King, but Batman, I despise his writing on Batman.
What about you, BJ?
Yeah, I haven't read any of it yet, so I probably won't read it anyways.
I'll save you the hassle. Don't buy it, don't read it, and don't even think about reading it.
Well, see,
I'll wait for it on Hoopla.
See,
not even on Hoopla.
Like I'm like Batman is my character. Batman and Spider-Man are my 2 characters. I will buy everything that comes out. I buy every detective trade. I buy every Batman trade. And I was excited when King because of Vision, I was excited with his like really dark take on Vision, to see a really dark take on Batman, and it's been awful. Like he's turned Batman into this like really mopey emo, like woe is me Batman, and like I get Batman's a very introspective character where he's going to do a lot of inner monologues and things like that. But that's what every issue is, and it's like I can never be happy, blah 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 blah. and then he does this whole Catwoman thing, which was ridiculous to begin with. Like, I don't know. I know DC won't. I hope they find a new writer for Batman. Tom just it's a one note Batman that's well overstayed in my opinion. Like if you love it, awesome. But in my opinion, like Tom King has way overstayed his welcome for Batman, and he's just writing him one dimensional, and nothing seems like it's going to change it. But that's just my rant on Batman.
I'm actually with you. I'm ready for like Frank Miller or Azzarello to come back into Batman and reinvigorate it like they did in the 80s and 90s. You know, it's like, all right, somebody come back and reinvigorate him back to what he was. Because I love Scott Snyder's Batman. That was one of my favorite reads I've ever read. And I wasn't a huge 52 fan. That was the only book I was consecutively reading in the New 52 was Batman. I gave up on Green Lantern. I gave up on The Flash. I gave up on Superman. I gave up on everything. But Batman, I would read because it was a great story. I loved how Scott Snyder did it. And that's why I'm kind of glad he's on Justice League now doing it. You know, the first issue I wasn't too happy with. But as the story progressed in issue 2 and now 3, it's been a lot better, you know, and it just takes a little while sometimes for writers, you know, to make their mark in a book. And Snyder's really starting to make his mark in that book. So I really appreciate that. But yeah, no more Batman with Tom King. Somebody else, please, for the love of God, take over Batman. Make him the Dark Knight again.
He's signed on for at least 100 issues.
And I saw a thing on CBR. He was talking about that too. He said, well, this is a 100-issue run that I'm working on. It's a big story. And I'm like, dude, you're at issue 50 and you're making it sappy and mopey, and it's making it hard on the fans who have an expectation of what Batman does and what Robin did, Nightwing, you know, what everybody else does. I mean, it's like the whole storyline with Deathstroke and Robin right now. You know, it's who's really Damian's father? They're going back and saying now that it's Deathstroke.
It's right.
Damian's
right.
And I'm like, what?
Was Days of Our Lives around here?
Pretty much.
Well, yeah, that's how it was. I'm like, you guys are smoking crack.
Well, and that's my issue with him on Batman is every story that he has. Like, I have loved the beginning of every story, but he can't finish the story. He puts these like weird twists into it to where it's almost like the wedding. Like, almost Catwoman runs away. Like, why not just have him make it to where Catwoman and Batman actually got married? Like, I mean, like, it's I don't know. Like, it's just the way. It's like he can't find a good way to finish a story, so he just makes it the easy, kind of mopey way out. Oh, in the laundry room. Sorry, my wife was asking me a question.
No worries. And so, like, for me, I would rather him be married to Talia al Ghul instead of Catwoman any day. You know, they've always had that creeping thing between Catwoman and Batman. Always. They've had that since they started, you know. So we all expected it to happen someday. But I'm like, well, if you wanted to really make it a real story, put Talia in there. Damian's his real son, you know. So make it married and then just make it official. And then bring Ra's al Ghul back.
Yeah, I was okay with the Catwoman thing just because I feel like there's always been that tension between Catwoman and Batman. So, like, I don't know, like, I didn't mind that, but I agree. I think Talia would have been an interesting choice as well. And then Tom King has the audacity to write an issue where he has to go ask Talia for permission to marry Catwoman. And that's where Tom lost me. Like I was all for it. I was like, I'm going to give him a chance. It's not for me, but I'm going to give him a chance until that issue. And then the issue where Clark Kent and Bruce and Selena and Lois go on a date, and they're at like a county fair where it's like a cosplay night, and and Bruce and Batman don't want to be found out they're each other, or Bruce and Clark, so they switch costumes. Oh, it was, and then Lois and Selena switch costumes. I'm like, no, like that's where he lost me. I'm like, I don't want to read Batman reading a normal life. Like, no, like, that's just dumb. But that is my opinion. If you love it, awesome. I'm not trying to tell you it's wrong. I personally hate it.
Yeah, and hopefully after the next 50 issues, they'll bring somebody good in and redo it, and we get something better. But by then, there'll be a new rebirth or something new in DC.
But let me say this: Tom King is a phenomenal writer. In no way, shape, or form am I saying that he can't write. In no way am I saying that he doesn't have good ideas. I respect him to the utmost degree. Like, if his line wouldn't have been already capped as E2E2, I would have got my Batman trade signed. Just because I really feel that he is a phenomenal writer. I just think that I don't know if maybe the pressure of Batman is getting to him, whereas something like Vision, who cared about Vision until he started writing it, and I don't know if maybe he just feels so trapped maybe in it that he has to do certain things. But I want that to be known, like, to everybody listening to this. Tom King is phenomenal. Everything I've read, every time I've ever got to interact with him, he seems like a genuine author. He really seems like he loves these characters. He puts a lot of work into it. In no way, shape, or form am I saying he's a bad writer. It's just the way he's writing Batman is not for me. Sorry.
And let me kind of
a lot of
preface
hate going on around in comics, and I don't want to be part of that. I just want people to know, like, just because I personally don't like something doesn't mean it's bad.
And let me preface that a little bit too, just so everybody understands on the stream is these are our opinions of what we think about these books. These are not facts.
No.
Okay, these are how we feel about a lot of stories. If you like a story and you like the writing and you like the artist, that's awesome. We're happy for you. You know, there's a lot of people that do like Tom King and stuff. There's a lot of us that are older who remember how the other stories and other writers were, and that is how we like writing and artistry to be. Um, and I think really what's happening though with Tom King is that there's a lot of bureaucracy around Batman in the DC world, that they're probably not letting him do everything that he could do. Like, you're right, the Vision was awesome. I love that run. That, oh my God, that was one of the best things I've read in a long time. Like Straczynski, I love Straczynski when he was on Superman. You know, he had some great stories. You know, when he had Earth One, you know, that was a great book. I loved how he wrote that. There's a lot of bureaucracy done around all these areas with Marvel, DC, Image, and like that. Things they can only do within that purview. So sometimes that limits on what the writing and artists can do. Like I said, this is our opinions. These are not facts. So take everything with a grain of salt. We're just trying to give you our opinions on how we feel about things.
Yep.
All right. With that being said, BJ, your favorite DC book so far?
I was gonna say Batman on 50, but I was like, never mind. I'm really just using Hoopla to catch up on the DC stuff. This year, I've actually read. I bought No Justice. I've read the Prelude to Metals, and then the Metals, and then the solo ones with all the various Batmen from the Dark world there, and so, but this one, if Sean Murphy would write an ongoing series of Batman, I'd buy it. Definitely, I think Sean Murphy's great, and along with Matt Hollingsworth going together with that too, Batman White Knight. Just a different story. It shows, you know, a lighter side of Joker, which is kind of weird. There's two different characters of a popular character. I'm not sure if I can spoil or not because I know Kyle hasn't read the whole thing yet. So I'm not sure if you're on that part, but yeah, that's it. White Knight, really good.
And I've not read it yet either. I'm waiting for the trade paperback to come out to read it because by the time I saw it come out, they were already on issue 3, so it was too late. So I was like, okay, I'm not going to try to go back and get it. I'll wait for the trade. But what I heard is that it's a different story to where Joker's a good guy, Batman's a bad guy.
Yep.
And to me, that's an awesome. I mean, it reminds me of Elseworlds, like they used to do in the 90s and 2000s, where it's a different type of story, but it's within that story. You know, you don't have to go read 1,000 crossovers with it. It's just, this is the story. This is all you have to read. And I actually appreciate that because I'm getting crossovered out between so many books right now. All right, my DC. I have two. I actually have two for pretty much every category, by the way. So, because there's been some really good stories. This one, Jeff Lemire, doing the Terrifics. This is a spinoff from Metals. Of course, it's got Mr. Terrific, Metamorpho, Plastic Man. If you did not read Metals and understand the significance of Plastic Man, I'm not going to spoil it for it. You need to finish Metals, okay? But this was an amazing story, and it's actually a full series. It's not just a 6-issue mini-series, so I'm glad they're keeping it on. And Plastic Man got his own series. He got a mini-series out of it, too, so it's been really good. And I've always liked Plastic Man, you know, so this has been a really good read. So definitely highly recommend the Terrifics. And then this one gets a lot of hate from the DC world right now. Doomsday Clock.
Oh yeah, I read that.
And the reason why it's getting so much hate is the release schedule of it, because of how long it's taking to get the books out. Because it's a 12-issue maxi series. I'm a huge Watchmen fan. I mean, you guys saw the box set I bought a couple of months ago. You know, the hardcovers. I mean, I've got every pretty much version of Watchmen that's out there. But I love how Doomsday Clock is a continuation of Rebirth, saying what happened with Rebirth. You know, it started with the Rebirth issue 1, and then it went to the Button, and now it's at Doomsday Clock to see how does Superman and Batman and the rest of the DC proper deal with Dr. Manhattan. Plus, we got a new Rorschach, and he's actually worse than the original. So, yeah, it's definitely interesting. And there's a lot of character designs done in the book and a lot of character development that's done in the book that we haven't seen in characters in probably 10 or 15 years. So I really like the story they're doing with it. And it's kind of funny because if you've read Watchmen, you know Ozymandias was the one who caused all the issues in the Watchmen universe. He's repenting in Doomsday Clock for his actions. He's trying to not do the same thing again in this other new universe. He still is a dickhead, don't get me wrong, and he still acts like he's holier than thou for everybody. But you can see as you read through the storyline that he knows what he did was wrong, and he's trying to avoid that. And it is funny to see him go against Lex Luthor, the smartest people in both worlds. So, very interesting read. Yes, DC's taking forever on it, and it needs to get out. They were originally going to do like one every other month, and now they're doing like one a month or one every 2 weeks if you're lucky. And it's on such a bad schedule that a lot of people are really ticked off with it. But if you think about it, who really cares? I mean, this is its own series outside of the main DC universe, you know, so it's kind of like Batman, Superman, all of them have their own thing going on right now, especially with Bendis taking over Superman. Yep. This can just happen as it goes on, you know, and it'll get there eventually. It kind of reminds me of Hellspawn. Hellspawn took 4 years to get done, because I remember they got through like issue 6 and then it just stopped for a couple of years. And then they brought it back, and thank God Alice Wood came in to help out to finish it up. But still one of my favorite books so far of the year. That might change with Bendis' writing. Man of Steel has been really good lately with Bendis on it. So I'm excited to see how Superman 1 and Action Comics turn out. So we'll have to see. But with that being said, we're on to our next category. All right, now Kyle, you better have something for this one. Best image book of the year so far.
So this was my hardest category because I literally went through, and after this I'm going to get my phone charger because my phone's ready to die. But yeah, so this was tough because there was probably 6 books that I felt fit this the most. And so one of them I just read today, and I was blown away because I just got it this week. So it will be part of my haul. But I thought it was unbelievably good, and it's one of my favorite series. But there is one book that came out way back in January that still I've reread 3 times, and it's still stuck with me as how unbelievably good it is. And that is, believe it or not, not Deadly Class, but Kill or Be Killed. This is the 3rd volume. This is Sean Phillips, Ed Brubaker. This book is unbelievable. And especially this volume, this one really, it's kind of a vigilante Punisher type character, but there's kind of almost like a demon possession kind of aspect to it. And this volume, you really start to see things really unravel between his personal life, between his Punisher life, between this kind of demonic being overtaking him, and we really start to question whether or not the demon's real, whether or not it's just phenomenal. If you like the Punisher, if you like crime noir, if you like really dark and gritty books, I can't recommend this series enough. So yeah, this is my image so far. Unless something super crazy comes out, I have a feeling that Kill or Be Killed will also be my book of the year because this book is just that damn good.
All right, BJ, what's your book of the year for Image?
Cyber Force.
Nice.
I think they're doing a good job bringing it back. Sylvester picked some great guys to write it and to do the art, and doing the characters a little bit different from it was bulked up 90s kind of sketching and stuff like that. But it's pretty cool. I like the way they're going towards it, and I'm really excited for the next few. What's going to be happening? This is going to go on my pull list actually too. But yeah, definitely some Cyber Force.
Sweet. All right, give me a second. I'm trying to see what's going on in my thing, so to speak. All right. We have so we having some technical difficulty. Let's see here.
Yeah, I've been having trouble too. It's been signing me off on mine.
Yeah, it's been acting up tonight. That's for sure. All right. Did you get your charger?
I did.
All right.
Speaking of which.
Okay, so mine for the year isn't much different for Image.
All right.
Cyber Force number one. What Hill and Hawkins and Arroyo are doing is amazing. I love how Silvestri is doing the covers though. So it kind of, it's like when I first saw it, I'm like, holy crap, Silvestri's writing it or doing it or drawing it, or I thought, okay, I'm going back to the 90s. Well, he's just doing the covers, but he's providing, kind of like executive producer over the book. He's like, you need to do this, you need to do that, you need to do this, kind of thing. So how Liefeld's doing it for Youngblood.
Yeah.
So I love this story, how they've been doing it. This every time I read this is awesome. It's too short though. That's my only complaint about the book. Is like it's like 20 pages, and it's like I want to keep reading this book. It's like, all right, I wish they had like a 30 or 48 page special books for each one of these because these are awesome. But yeah, this is my number one Image book of the year.
Nice.
All right. Okay, next category. Now, this is a different category than most people would have, but this is our best other independent book because a lot of us read other stuff other than just the main 3. So wanted to give an opportunity to everybody to go through which they thought was their best other independent book. So Kyle, what is your best Their other pick.
Right.
Best other independent book.
So as you guys know, that's pretty much what I predominantly read is Image and independent books. And so this one was really tough as well. But from Dark Horse Comics, I went with Sherlock Frankenstein and the Legion of Evil. And for those of you guys who don't know, so Jeff Lemire at Dark Horse is doing this Black Hammer series, which is highly, 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 highly recommended, where he's basically constructing his own universe of superheroes for Dark Horse Comics. Sherlock Frankenstein and Legion of Evil is actually a book. It's a tie-in book to that universe, and that's the thing I think I love the most about it is it fills in a lot of gaps in the Black Hammer universe, but it's not something that you have to read to really appreciate Black Hammer. But this basically kind of showcased the villains of the Black Hammer universe, and this was unbelievably cool. Like, it gives such a unique vibe to the villains. It makes you feel for the villains. It makes you understand of what they're doing and why they're doing it, how they interact with the heroes of this Black Hammer universe. And this was honestly, like, I read this in probably a half an hour, and I immediately read it again because I loved it that much. I'm a massive fan of Jeff Lemire, everything he's ever done. So as soon as Black Hammer came out, I was all over that. And this just takes that universe. Like, this really makes me feel like he is crafting a very interesting, a very detailed universe, just with kind of some of the steps he's taking to put out tie-ins like this. It's not, like I said, it's not necessary reading, which is awesome because you can still read Black Hammer, fully understand what's going on. But if you want to learn just a little bit more of what's going on, and especially on the villain side of the universe, highly recommend this. This was my Dark Horse or other indie title book of the so far.
All right, BJ.
I went with my buddy Jen. Kiss versus Kiss in the Army of Darkness. It's fun to read if you're a big fan of Army of Darkness or any of the Evil Dead movie. Blends well. They put a good storyline. Working with the band and the Necronomicon and Ash as well.
I still need to read that. I actually had to actually have my LCS order Youngblood last week for me. They weren't actually getting it in, so they ordered the second trade that came out, and they're trying to get me the last of the back issue so I can get caught up. Because I've only read the first 5 in the trade paperback. But my other one for this year is Body This has been like when I saw Shattered Grid, some of the issues coming out for that series, that kind of brought my my attention span back to Power Rangers a little bit. I hadn't read any of this stuff at all. But when Shattered Grid came out with the concept of a bad Green Ranger kills pretty much every Power Ranger in the universe, takes over their powers, and now he's trying to go kill this last universe. That kind of sucked me back into Power Rangers, so I wanted to go back and read it. So I picked up all the Go-Go Power Rangers, all the Mighty Morphin, all but one trade so far. And then BJ sent me some issues of it too. So now I'm screwed because I have to go complete it because my OCD is telling me I need to go complete it. But to me, that it's been one of the best reads I've done in a long time as far as an independent book. The other one that was kind of going to go in that route was Oblivion Song. Even though it's an Image book, it's different. It's a Kirkman book. Kirkman doesn't really fit Image well, as far as that. I mean, he's one of those guys. He really should be like in Dark Horse or something like that, or Boom Studios or something like that. It's just when I read it, I don't see Image when I read Kirkman books. Walking Dead, yes, that's Image all the way, Image. But when he does all these other books like that, I was like, yeah, Oblivion Song almost made it too. Okay. Next category, best hardcover. So, Kyle, best hardcover.
All right, so this one I have 2, and they're 2 different reasons. So when I think of best kind of collection, best kind of hardcover, there are two things I take into consideration. The first being that, like, especially with hardcovers, the thing that I love about them is usually get a ton of extras. So you get, like, whether it be sketches or you get like actually pages of the script written out, or you get like different interviews and things like that. I love that in hardcover collections. So thinking of that kind of category, I'm going with the Descender Volume 1 hardcover. This is Jeff Lemire again, same with Black Hammer. Jeff Lemire is one of my favorite authors ever in comics, so I pick up anything he has. But as you can see, this is a gorgeous white hardcover. They retail for $50, so it is a little bit expensive. But I think you get I think this is grades 1 through 3. So you get a really good amount in here. But if you actually open it up, this thing is absolutely gorgeous. So you get all these preliminary sketches of what Tim 21 looked like all throughout. The development stage of what the original drawings were going to look like. In the back, you get a ton of different kind of pinups from fan art. You get all the entire cover gallery. You get a bunch of drafts of the script from Jeff Lemire. So as you can see here, you get all the variant covers. Everything's presented absolutely gorgeously, and it's this really nice, thick, heavy hardstock paper. It's a sewn spine. It's just a very, very high quality cover, especially like if you're wanting to collect this story in a more premium format. So that's my hardcover, is if you're going for kind of extras and quality. The other thing I take a look at as far as hardcovers is how well does something read with all the volumes collected together. And so this one, unfortunately, really doesn't have any extras at all. So there's no sketches, there's no interviews or anything like that. This is just one of the best stories I read this year. And it reads perfectly in this edition. And that is Sheriff of Babylon. Oddly enough, Tom King. So I was just bashing his Batman. But I love this book. This is basically a CIA operative that's been sent over to Iraq post-Saddam, who is trying to help build up the Iraqi military police force over there as a murder is committed. And it's just a whole lot of political intrigue. There's a lot of action. Tom King, if you don't know, is actually in the CIA and did a lot of operations over in Iraq. So I think there's a lot of truth to this book, and I think that's the reason this is so incredibly well done. But this is a gorgeous hardcover. Like I said, there's not a lot of extras, but this story reads incredibly well. This is the entire thing, all bound into one deluxe edition. So as far as story-wise, this was my hardcover of the year. And then as far as like extra kind of quality-wise, Descender was my Image hardcover of the year.
Sweet. BJ, about you, man?
Yeah, I only own 3 hardbook covers. 2 of them I bought this year. This one is not made in 2018, but I bought it this year, still counting it. Made Spider-Man.
Nice.
I got it at the Books A Million for clearance price. Issues 1 through 6, 1.1 through 1.5, and then annual number 1, and then some sketches and variant covers are on there. So that's it. I just started reading it today too, by the way, at lunch. I finished up Superior Spider-Man, the first trade I had. So I gotta go start looking for those for a discount.
Yeah, you do. You better go to Half Price Books and Ollie's and pick them up, man.
Yeah.
And
I'm envious. We don't have one here. All right. Mine of the year hardcover. X-Men Age of
Ooh.
Apocalypse Omnibus.
Nice.
That's a big book, and
Yeah, that
it's
is.
sewn as well, which is kind of nice for these kind of omnibuses because
Yep.
this is where Marvel and DC typically screw up really bad on their omnibuses. They glue them versus
Yep.
sewing them together, and the glue breaks apart over years, and then guess what? It all falls out,
Yep.
which sucks for an omnibus, especially at the price point for a lot of these. Um, I got this one on free comic book day back in April. Um, for very cheap, 75% off. So I had to get it. And I'm actually got to get the companion. There's an actual companion book that goes with this. What I liked about this one is that it's the whole story. This is the whole thing from start to finish. The prequel. As you can see on the back, I do like how Marvel does do that. They put all the issues, a picture of them on the back of these omnibuses a lot of the time. Um, but the one thing it doesn't have is the addendum stuff to it, which is in the Age of Apocalypse Omnibus Companion. It's like what happened after the fact, or where are the tie-in stories? Like this one doesn't have X Universe or X-Men Chronicles, like those other little onesie twosie books that need to go with it. So I definitely need to pick it up. But this is still out of all the stuff in the '90s. This is my favorite saga of all time. So when I had a chance to pick it up, I picked it up in a heartbeat.
Nice.
All right, and it's a freaking heavy book too. Um, all right, next category. And Kyle probably has like 20 of these for this category. Best trade paperback so far of the year.
So yeah, this one was another tough one, but actually there's one book that I've been so impressed with that just came out this year that it was pretty easy, to be honest. Like I have a ton of trades, but yeah, this is an easy winner. And Nate, you'll appreciate this. So Dark Horse decided that, and I assume it's because they have a new movie coming out soon, that they were going to read all of Mike Mignola's Hellboy series in chronological order. So
Yep.
my trade paperback of the year is so far is the Hellboy Omnibus series. And have you actually got one of these yet, Nate? Have you got one in hand?
Not yet. I'm waiting on it to get my LCS.
So these, if you guys aren't aware, so Hellboy obviously is a series dating back to like what 94, I think is when Hellboy started.
93 to 95.
Yeah. But this is the first time that they have ever printed everything that Mike Mignola did in chronological order, and it's 4 omnibuses and 2 volumes of short stories, and this thing is amazing. Everything from the paper quality and the thing that really impressed me, like Hellboy is a series that, like, as a comic fan, I had never read before. Until this series came out and I saw that they were doing it this way, and I was like, I had to buy them. The books are phenomenal, but the thing I've been most impressed with is all the extras that you get. So in the back of this, you get all sorts of sketches. You get all sorts of interviews with Mike Mignola himself of how he came up with the character. Original sketches, like that's what originally Hellboy was going to look like, which is nothing what Hellboy looks like when it actually came out. It's just some I found myself like enjoying those interviews almost as much as I did the actual stories themselves, and I think to me that is the epitome of a collection. And like I said, there's 4 volumes of the omnibus. They're doing one every 2 weeks, so they're coming out pretty quickly all this year, and you'll have the entire Hellboy series all done up in one just really nice uniform omnibus series. I think each one's about 400 pages. They retail at $25.
Wow.
You get them on Amazon for about 20. So I mean, you can get the entire Hellboy series for $150, which is pretty crazy. Dark Horse seemed to put a lot of love into this, and this is definitely my trade paperback of the year. And this encompasses, I have 3 of them so far. I have Short Stories Volume 1, Volume 2, and Volume 1 of the main omnibus. Volume 3 comes next week, I believe, off Amazon. But yeah, so far all 3 of these books are my trade paperback of the year.
Yeah, let's talk about it for a second, because if you actually looked at when those were coming out, they came out every week for like the last 4 weeks. Like, so every week they've been coming out. So they were trying to get all of it out before the end of July. And they're pretty successful with that right now. I mean, everywhere I've seen it, my shop only got 1 copy of the volume 1 in, and I didn't pick it up. So I went in last week to go get it. It was already gone. And they're like, "Oh no, that was gone in a heartbeat." I was like, "Crap!" So I said, "Order them all." Yeah, it looks like a great series, but I hope BPRD comes out as well, though, because if people don't know what that is, it's kind of a, I'm not going to say succession series, but it's kind of a parallel series to it. Yeah. And it's really an interesting read too, especially with Ape Sapien. So.
Oh, and then I kind of hope they do Ape Sapien and Lobster Johnson. Like, if they basically do everything in the Hellboy universe all in this omnibus series, that'd be phenomenal.
I hope they do, man, because I mean it was one of my favorite series to read, because I was reading it with Sandman, Preacher, and everything when Vertigo was out, so in Starman. So it was kind of a cool era to be reading comics at the time. So glad to see it come back out, and with the new movie coming out, who knows what's going to happen.
Yep.
BJ, your trade paperback so far of the year.
I really just have to show it because it's already been talked about. So it's damn good. It is.
It is.
It's crazy how these trades just like keep on escalating each volume too, and I'm afraid about the 4th volume. I might go insane reading the damn thing because it's so good. It just goes out there. So that's all I gotta say.
Well, and that's Lemire at his best, too. I mean, that's the catch. I love how Lemire writes, him and Tom King. Just imagine if you put both of those guys in a book together, how the story would be.
That's actually Killer Be Killed's Ed Brubaker.
Yeah, I know. That's what I'm saying. It's like, I'd like to see how the King writing style would be. It'd be kind of cool to see. Like, we've seen some writers do that. Claremont Simonson did that for a while in the 80s, So it'd be kind of cool to see that go back together. All right, my trade paperback of the year. Robotech.
Nice.
So this is done by Titan, and this is the first time, similar to the Hellboy, where they're actually re-releasing all the original Comico comics from the 80s and 90s in chronological order. Of course, they started with the Macross Saga. They're going to go through this, the Masters, the New Generation, the Sentinels. They're going to get all the way up to Shadow Chronicles. So, and then by then the current Robotech series should be ready for a hardcover, because they've only got so many issues into it right now, the current Robotech. So, and it's kind of it's a small book too. I'm thinking the Hellboy is the same size, because that Hellboy looks like a smaller trade paperback than a standard size.
It's it's basically, I mean, it's thick, it's 400 pages, but yeah, it's the same size. Like, if you look, like, it's a Sherlock, it's a normal trade paperback size. It's not like your Sheriff of Babylon where it's oversized.
Yeah. It's like this one, just to give you a comparison.
Okay. Oh man.
This is a smaller book. But it's got 12 issues in it.
See, the Hellboy one's the exact same size as a comic, just 400 pages.
Oh, okay. It looks smaller on the screen. So if you guys remember IDW, when they did those omnibuses years ago, those little white ones, it's the same size as that.
Okay.
So like Star Trek, and they did Transformer, G.I. Joe, and they were doing all that's that kind of same size. But what's cool, like I said, what's cool about it is that they've got introductions in it by Carl Masick's wife, since Carl Masick, of course, is dead. His wife did an introduction about Robotech. And the cool part is they're trying to talk about releasability of Robotech and things outside of the Carl Masick. So his wife is starting to talk about letting things happen that he would never let happen for the last 30 years. So maybe someday, maybe we'll get a movie, and then maybe we'll finally start getting the Japanese version of Macross in the U.S. Who knows? But I've already read it twice, and I'll probably read it again right before the next volume comes out. But yeah, that's my trade of the year.
Right.
And this one almost went up there for hardcover of the year, just because it's Batman Odyssey, it's Neil Adams, but it got beaten out just by a little bit. Okay, so best cover of the year time frame so far. Best cover of the year. Now that can be comic, that can be hardcover, that can be trade, it can be anything, But wanted to start seeing what everybody thought so far. I got too many. That's all I want to say. But Kyle, it's up to you, man.
So this was the hardest. Being a trade collector, I don't really get a whole lot of covers. It's usually one. So this was the hardest one to try to think of one. So I went with something a little bit kind of simplistic. Probably most people won't think this is cover of the year, but for me it was, just because of how it looked. But this was a C2E2 exclusive that Image had at their table, and it was God Country. And so this is the exclusive C2E2 hardcover edition. And it's super simple, I know. You get this really nice kind of cloudy effect all throughout. Then you have Valifax, which is the sword in the book, right there in the center, really nice and glossy. I don't know why. As soon as I saw this, I was going to buy it anyway, because this is one of my favorite comics ever, and I want to buy every edition of it I can. But just something about this cover just looks really kind of classy to me, I guess, in a way. This is one cover that, like, I don't know, I absolutely love it. And on the back, you just have the star, and I don't know. It's very simple, but it just, I guess, speaks to me, I guess, in a way. I don't know. I love it.
Now, is that the whole series, or how many issues are in that one?
That's the entire series bound in one hardcover.
Saying that's how you get a series. I mean, that's like Reborn was done the same way. They had 6 issues and they put it in like the one hardcover, and it's been awesome.
Yep. Yeah. The only issue I have with it is glued, not sewn. So we'll see how it holds up.
That one should do a little bit better since it's a smaller book.
Right. Exactly. It's a very. I mean, it's not a thick trade or hardcover, so I'm sure it'll hold up fine.
All right, BJ, cover of the year.
Yeah, a few of them. I can't find my New Mutants Dead Souls Unknown Comics variant cover. I don't know where it went. That's got to be one of these boxes. But then there's also any regular Domino cover this year. Greg Land's been hitting them pretty good, especially when they're not variants. It's really nice how these are mass published here for that. But for Mr. Rob Liefeld, who likes to make the pouch character, because for shits and giggles, because he's a good sportsman, because everybody talks about his pouches on his players there. He decided to make a variant cover of that.
Well, the funny thing is, that's the only thing he's ever drawn that's in proportion, because that's the only thing he can draw is pouches.
Oh god! I mean, even the gun's made of pouches.
Yep, which is why it looks so good.
And no feet.
Yeah, I brought that up about him not drawing feet on the cover for that reason.
Oh, that's good stuff.
All right, I've got 3 for covers of the year, and one of them's going to actually be an oddball. You guys wouldn't expect it, probably. Cosmic Redneck. Number 12. Dottie Gates, of course, is the homage to Cosmic Ghost Rider. So from that, so I was like, dude, I love this cover. This is just funny as you get. Cosmic Redneck. This is Grandpa Wins versus Thanos wins up here. Grandpa wins. So I was like, yeah.
I'm surprised Marvel let him do that, to be honest.
I am too, especially since it says Legacy, it says Skybound. I mean, it says this is pretty much the same exact cover almost of Thanos 13.
Yeah.
So I was really excited. That's why I had to go hunt this one down. I had to get this issue for that one. This one just a common cover, but I love how Alex Ross has been doing the Amazing Spider-Man covers this year. And this being 800, of course, I love the Red Goblin, and I love how everybody's on the cover of it. You don't see Ross do that a lot anymore. He usually does one or two characters on a cover, but he's got so many characters on this cover, it's crazy. Reminds me of like George Perez, and Perez used to draw 1,000 people on one cover. But I really liked how this one turned out. And this is just the standard regular version, not the variants or anything else. And then the last one, the Gabriel Dell'Otto, Hunt for Wolverine #1. This is the KRS Comics variant. So I was going to get the Virgin, but didn't want to spend 3 times as much on it. So I went and got the trade dress, but I love how this turned out. This reminds me of the old Logan days, you know. So yeah, that's my best cover of the year.
Nice.
All right. Free bonus round of categories. I hit everybody up today with this category. Your favorite purchase of the year so far in comics. So, Kyle, you're up.
All right. So mine comes from I think this was 85, 86 is when this originally came out. And I think this edition came out last year, but I didn't buy it until this year. But it is the hardcover edition of Batman the Dark Knight. So this is the Frank Miller, Klaus Johnson series. And this is all 4 issues, all done up in a hardcover box set. And this is obviously one of my favorite Batman stories, but it's just awesome having each individual issue in its own hardcover format. And then it was really cool. I got Klaus Janson to actually sign that for me at C2E2. So I was super excited about that. But yeah, this is my favorite purchase so far of this year is having the Dark Knight. I mean, I had it in trade paperback, but I really wanted a hardcover. And once they came out with all four individual issues in a hardcover, this is a gorgeous set. So if you're looking for the Dark Knight, I think it was only like $30 or $40 for the hardcover set. Definitely highly recommend this.
Yeah, that's kind of how the Watchmen set was I bought earlier. You know, it's a hard cut. So if you're looking for it on Amazon, it's called the Deluxe Edition. So definitely look at it for that one. But yeah, like the Watchmen one, it did the same thing, 1 per issue. Yep. And they have, you know, and there's not a lot of bells and whistles with it either. I mean, it's just the story in one. I had a couple of sketches in some of the back ones or like covers. But yeah, I still need to get that one, and then the Dark Knight Strikes Again, and then the Master Race. They've done them all in the deluxe editions already.
Yeah, that's the thing with the Dark Knight Returns. This one's, if you're looking for it on Amazon, I think it's called the Collector's Edition is what it says on it. But there are no extras at all. Like there's no sketches, no pencil work, nothing. It's just the 4 issues in a hardback. That's it.
BJ. Favorite book so far?
There's a reason behind this because when I bought this, it started to branch me out into a little bit more and more of non-DC and non-Marvel comic books, and is back in January when right before I went to Michigan to see my dad and go for a nice little snowmobile trip. Got that. 7-2 Eternity was the one that kind of started off branching out my knowledge of writers and going to find more and more stories out there.
Sweet.
I love it.
Well, And that's kind of the fun part is that we've actually just within this, us three of us have actually helped each other out, learn about other writers and learn how to, more stories and stuff. Like I didn't know a lot about Lee Meyer. I know he did a couple of things here and there because he was mostly independent and I was mostly big three. So it kind of made me stretch out a little bit as well and go back brief, find out some of his old stuff. And then it's amazing. It really is. A lot of the stuff a lot of these guys have done. Okay, so best things. I got two. Okay, and if you saw my last comic haul, you might have saw what I got. So first up, Batman. No, this is Detective Comics number 400. This is first appearance of Man Bat, done by Neil Adams. On the cover, I love Neil Adams, as everybody knows on the stream. I'm a huge Neil fan. He can be a dick at times. I know that. And I've been on both sides of that. So, Kyle, I know exactly how you feel. I've been on that side of Neil, so to speak. So, but this was something I've been wanting to get for a long time. I'm working on my Neil Adams collection of Batman, Deadman, Superman, everything DC. So I needed to get this. So I ended up getting this on a really good deal, and then got it sent in and got it slabbed with CGC. And then my best purchase of the year so far. We got a lot more in the pipe this year.
Nice.
ASM 129. This is a 7.0. This should probably be an 8 or an 8.5. It might actually get cracked open and resubmitted. But at least as today, first appearance of the Punisher. This has been on my grail list for probably 15 years because this book has never really dropped in value. When the new series came out, with Netflix, this book skyrocketed through the damn roof. So not a cheap book. Not saying how much. That's all I want to say. I've been asked a lot of times for it, not telling. But this is my book of the year so far this year. Yay. All right. So that's all we got, people, for categories. We'll probably use the same ones, and when we do it again in January for all of 2018. But wanted to kind of get to the hauls this week as well. So, Kyle, what'd you get this week?
Not a big week, but I picked up Amazing Spider-Man. This is the Red Goblin trade. This is volume 8 for Dan Slott. So, yeah, picked up volume 8 of Amazing Spider-Man. Picked up, okay, so I'm going to go on a little bit of a tangent here because
crap.
This really pisses me off. So I picked up Dark Knight's Metal. This is the Resistance. This is the final volume of the 4 for the Metal series. This is what I don't understand. Okay, so Metal, they've given us 3 gorgeous hardcovers. They've given us, Dark Days, The Road to Metal, which is the casting, and then they gave us the actual Metal series. Then they gave us the Dark Knights Rising, which was all the evil Batmen. And they've all been gorgeous hardcovers. So you get the Dark Knight Rising, and you get the casting that are hardcovers that are one size, so they match perfectly. Then you get the actual Metal series that's an oversized, so it's about an inch bigger than these two. Then DC gives us this damn trade paperback that's a floppy. Why? Like, I don't understand this at all. Like, okay, like maybe it's just my OCD. Like, I'm the person that bought the first 2 trades of Sweet Tooth in trade paperback. I'm the person that owns all 3 trades of Low in trade paperback. But I love hardcovers. Like, I love like Image, DC, Marvel will get me every time if they put out a good hardcover. Like Hellboy, if they do this omnibus again in hardcover, I will buy it in a second because I love hardcovers. Like this just irks me to no end that they like why do you make one of them like okay, if you want to make one, like I can get over the fact the one's bigger than the other two. I think they should all be the same size, but whatever. Why do you make one a trade paperback and not even give an option for a hardcover? When I ordered it, I just assumed it was hardcover, and then I get it in the mail, and it's freaking paperback. But so yeah, I picked up Dark Knight: The Rising, or the Resistance. Sorry. So I picked that up. I picked up to continue on Hellboy. I did pick up volume 1 of the short stories. So picked this up, and then this was almost my Image trade of the year so far. I read this actually this afternoon, and it's brilliant. I just like Kill or Be Killed that much that I decided to go with that. But that's Southern Bastards Volume 4. This, honestly, if you have any interest in crime, if you have any interest in football, the American football, not the real football.
Dang.
I personally can't stand the actual sport of football, or the actual like American football. I love soccer, but even though I'm not a big football fan, this book is unbelievably good, and Volume 4 just ups everything. Like I literally read this in like a half an hour, and I couldn't put it down. And like my wife was trying to talk to me in the kitchen, and I was like, no, I had to finish this. This was an adrenaline rush and a half. This is one of the best books on the stands. Definitely pick up volumes 1 through 3 if you haven't read it. Volume 4, unbelievable. It was this close to being my trade so far this year, but I picked this up this week as well. That's it.
So let's talk about that for a minute, about the whole scale between like hardcovers and that. Now, we all know that DC and Marvel are really good about marketing and then coming out with a new version every other couple of years. I bet you 100 to 1 there's going to be a Metals box set probably in about 6 months or a year.
Right.
That'll be all of them.
Which I get that, but my only question is like, why would you make like? I just don't get why they made 3 of them hardcover. Like I said, the size I would prefer them all to be the same size so they look even on my shelf. But the size doesn't bother me. But the fact that 3 of them are hardcover and one of them's a trade paperback, I don't get why they decided to do that with just one of them. But yeah, it is what it is. But I'm sure for the box set, that's all of them. Uniform,
Now,
I'll buy it because I have to have a matching set.
but is the do you think though that they're going to actually come out with one like that? I mean, do you think that there was a hardcover supposed to come out, or was it just?
That's the thing. I don't get what they're trying to do. I think if they do a box set, it'll be a couple of years down the road.
Okay. BJ.
Yeah.
What'd you get?
We had another midnight sale there at the LCS for Amazing Spider-Man #1 this week. I didn't get that though, but they did have like trades and everything from half off. But my pulls and other pickups, of course, I got the last one, Kiss Army Darkness. Star Wars #50, just a regular cover. The Countdown Darkhawk #4, finish it up. Transformers Unicron #1.
You suck. I want that book so bad.
Yeah, man. And then Domino #4.
Nice.
And I read this today. I got it this week too. Even though it came out last week, but this is starting to open up something that looks pretty good for storyline coming up soon. Then X-Men Blue 31. Haven't read this one yet. And then I should be getting about 1 or 2 more of these Walking Deads, and I'm probably gonna go straight to trades. Just want to finish that up. New Mutants Dead Souls #5. It's like Doctor Strange or something. And then for 50% off of a used American Vampire, Volume 1.
Is that the hardcover?
So, no, trade. It was $5. I remember seeing posters of these when it first came out at an older comic book store I used to go to before it closed down. I was always interested in it. So, but I wasn't too sure. Then I heard you guys talking about it. I was like, all right, I'll go ahead and get it then.
Fantastic series.
Oh, and then some other things I picked up. I found Storm. And then I went to Ollie's and I got some Transformers that were on discount. Oh wait, that's not one of them. Dang it, I got Overlord, but I picked up the wrong one. And then Octane, Octane.
Octane.
$12. Not Octone. Nope.
I love Hasbro.
Oh yeah. My buddy grabbed it for me when it was on sale for $37 at Best Buy. Should I put it on?
I love it. You should have done the whole stream with that on.
That's right.
Oh, I'm bringing up to Cincinnati, man. So I'm gonna ride around the car with this thing.
Oh yes.
I swear.
Oh god. It's supposed to have batteries in it, but I gotta figure out where to put them at. But yeah.
I swear to God.
That's all I got.
People...
Hey,
since you decided to show up. Hey, Cincy. Of course, he shows up, after we're about 99% of the way through everything. That's pretty typical. Sorry, we gave you love, brother. We really love you. But that helmet, I heard that thing was down like $10 or $15 at one point at the store. I would have loved to get it, but you know what? I can't. It won't fit my head. My head's too damn big. Same with the Darth Vader one from the Black Series. I was like, damn it, I want that one, but it's like stupid thing. But I have frozen technical difficulties again. Stupid thing. It's been acting up all night for us.
It has.
I don't know what's going on. Let's see here. Because I got some cool stuff I want to show you guys.
Yeah.
There we go.
Hey.
You're back.
I don't know what's going on. It's been like acting up for all of us. So I don't think it was just you, BJ. I think it's just YouTube in general tonight.
Mm-hmm.
All right. I did not go to the LCS this week. Now, if you guys watched a couple videos ago, I did get the whole set of these guys.
Yeah.
Nice.
And then this guy. But I got the rest of the wave sitting on my wall right above me right now. I'm waiting to build Apocalypse until I find out about Psylocke. Because there's like two variants of Psylocke now. You've got the black-haired version, and there's a purple-haired version. And I don't have the purple-haired version yet. I still need to find one. But the question is does anybody know which one is the real one? Because Walgreens came out with the black-haired one, and now everybody else is getting the purple-haired one everywhere else. So it's the whole Mysterio thing all over again, And then somebody else said they found another variant of it too, where the uniform was like a metallic purple versus the dark color one. So I'm like, all right, we're all screwed on this wave. But yeah, I picked up all of them, and then see what else do I get? I got the blue Zeo Ranger, and then I might have got a couple things from BJ. Let me show you what BJ sent me. So, first up, We got Ash versus the Army of Darkness, number 0, signed by Chad and Chris. Holy shit!
Oh, God.
What's up, guys?
Go on, Susie.
What's up, C? All right, you better get your hauls ready, brother.
I am.
All right, so yeah, I got the Ash versus Army of Darkness, number 0, signed by Chris and by Chad. And then we got, I'm probably going to butcher this name up, Guardians of the Galaxy, signed by Chad, Chris, and Bonvillain, or Bonvillian. I don't know how to say it.
Bond villain.
Bond villain.
Yeah.
Bonvillain is what I'm calling it. Bonvillain. That's what I'm sticking with.
I like it.
So, but yeah, he got me with that one. This cool old eerie book. Now, as you guys know, I love horror books. You know, so anytime eerie or creepy magazines and stuff like that from the 70s and 80s, like I pick up all this stuff. Adventure into Fear, Monsters United. I love all this stuff. The new Monsters Unleashed sucks by Marvel, so I won't pick that up. But anything like this, yeah, I always pick up. And then we got, I showed this off earlier, but it's the Batman Odyssey hardcover. Of course, this is all 12 issues of the series. So thank you, brother, for the hookup on that one. And then he got me, let's see. I sent him a couple of things. I don't remember which ones now. But let me take out those. Got Youngblood trade paperback. You guys remember when I bought that a while back? But he did get from Chad says stay young, Nate. And yeah, I'm already old, so that's kind of hard to do. I think between me and Cincy, we're probably the oldest people in the syndicate. And then last but not least, this was the cool one. And so you have to tell me on this one. That's why I'm glad you're here, BJ. So we got Youngblood, number 1. This is the Fat Collectibles variant cover. Of course, it's signed. But on the back was a sketch that was done. Now, did Chris do that, BJ, or did Chad?
Chad did that. That's Die Hard from the comic.
Yeah, I knew who he was. I'm just like, all right, who did it? So tell Chad next time he gets ready to do Youngblood that he needs to just do the whole issue. Tell him to do the drawing, do the writing, do the inking, and do the lettering, and see what he says.
Okay.
It probably won't go over well, but just say, hey, this is a decent sketch. You know, don't get me wrong. So I just wanted to say thank you, man, from the bottom of my heart, dude. I really appreciate it. You go on to that extent to get me all this stuff, man. Thank you, brother.
Yeah, no problem.
All right. Now that we have a special guest.
Sorry, I'm late.
Cindy, you're always late. That's how it goes. But since he's on tonight, thank you for coming in. I know I messaged you earlier today to see if you were going to come in or not, so glad you can make it. You're going to have to go watch the rest of the stream where we were talking about our best issues of 2018
nice.
So far. So what I would like you to do, though, is I'm going to shoot you the categories. You can go put those out on Syndi-Comics, like which ones that you have so far of the years. Because you're one of our admins and mods as well, and I always want to get it from everybody. So I'm going to tag you and Rosie both to go do that.
Definitely. I got to think about that, though. There's been a lot of good comics this year.
That's why we took a whole month off, pretty much. All right, so what'd you get this week, Sensei?
I got a ton of stuff. So first of all, non-comic related, I got A Quiet Place on Steelbook because it's a freaking awesome movie. Highly recommend that movie. So good. Here's my stack that I got this week. So I'm going to start with DC because that's the fewest amount of things that I got. And I still love these DC variant comics. I got Detective 984. Can you see that? There's a super glare. So I got the variant there. I got Catwoman #1. Gorgeous cover right there. Holy smoke.
Yeah.
I got Superman #1. New Brian Michael Bendis, Superman 1, Ivan Rice. I got that variant. I didn't really like that variant, but they were all out of the normal cover. I don't even know who does that variant. I got the new Green Lantern, Hal Jordan and the Green Lantern Corps. Is it Green Lantern Corps? Yeah. 48. Another variant. So all the DC books that I got this week are freaking variants. I got this brand new surprise title by Image called Die, Die, Die.
Yep.
Robert Kirkman, Scott Gimple, Chris Burnham book, which I heard the story behind it is that they didn't even tell comic shops what it was. They just shipped it. So kind of crazy.
Yep.
I think that's the first time it's ever been done. But apparently that book's already going for more than cover value on the internet. So like Nostalgia Inc., where I bought that, is limiting customers to 1 per customer. But it looks pretty cool, at least from the cover. I haven't read it yet. I got Amazing Spidey #1, Ryan Otley, Nick Spencer. I already love it because the freaking art is awesome. I love Ryan Otley's art. We've moved on to Marvel, by the way. I got Avengers #4. I got, and some of these came out last week, but I'm just kind of catching up. I got Captain America #1, even though it's a super controversial title, controversial writer. But I wanted to give it a shot, see if I liked it. I'm open-minded. Politically, I'm middle of the road, so kind of works for me there. And I'm not going to get into politics anymore. I got the Immortal Hulk #2 because this book is freaking awesome. This is, I guess, my pick of the week. How do I already have a low battery? Good Lord. So Mortal Hulk #2, because like each story that, at least the first issue and what I flipped through this one, it's kind of like a standalone story in each one. And Hulk's not a superhero in this comic. He's just a monster, which is awesome. I got Old Man Logan 43, Bullseye still in this arc. Pretty cool there. Star Wars #50, which I was surprised that the cover price was like $6 on this one, but it's a thick issue and it's kind of a like a anniversary-ish issue. I cannot get rid of that glare, Lord. And the art is beautiful. I got Astonishing X-Men #13, Havoc's new team, which is awesome because I love Havoc. I've been a huge fan of Havoc since the 80s. So I'm glad that he's back. I'm glad that he's in his original uniform. So I got that one. I got X-Men Blue #31. I've heard that this is a pretty like big issue based on storyline, but I'm not caught up. I'm like 6 issues back on X-Men Blue. And then last but not least, I got yet another gorgeous cover, X-23 #1. Freaking beautiful cover right there. Mm-hmm. But I flipped through this one. The internal art's cool too. And it looks like a pretty cool book. So there's the stack. That's what I got.
Very nice.
All right, now show off the Hulkbuster.
Ooh! Hold on, let's see if I don't want to give away too many spoilers, but I'm doing like a Hot Toys video here, and I'm gonna film it like probably tomorrow. But here is that stud right there.
Oh, it's unreal.
Awesome. Love it. Love it.
I'm glad you finally got it, man.
Catches my eye.
So I was going to ask you, Cincy. So now that I know you asked me this when Gladiator Thor, so it's been a week. Do you still love it as much as you did the day you got it?
The Hulkbuster?
Yeah.
More and more every day.
Really?
Yeah, and I keep changing up the way it looks. Like I just took off the battle damaged armor piece and put the regular armor piece in. Just kind of make them look like he's just forming.
Right.
Occasionally I'll open up the chest cavity and then show the Mark 43 inside. So it's such an awesome piece. It's definitely my favorite figure in my collection right now.
Nice.
So yeah, it surpassed Luke on Tauntaun, which was a big deal since that thing was unsurpassable for such a long time.
Well, I'm glad you finally got. I mean, I know me and T's been kind of hounding you to get that from us the last year. So
Yeah, I was very, very hesitant to buy it just because it's a $900 toy. And, you know, I sold a bunch of Hot Toys to get it, and then I hesitated, and I said, no, that's too much. But I just pulled the trigger on it. I figured that I'm not going to get it for that price again because it was $1,200 but 25% off. So with $900 for a figure that's going for like $1,700 right now and selling for that much on eBay. So I figured I couldn't pass it up. I had to take advantage of it. And I'm so glad I did. Like when they opened the box, I asked to like look at it and examine it. They opened the box and I looked at it and I'm like, sold. That's all it took is just for me to see it in person, see it in front of me. I'm like, oh my God, that thing is insane. So yeah, as soon as I saw it, I'm like, no question whatsoever. I need it.
Well, see, that was like the cool thing. I helped fund you on some of that because I bought all your fans' toys.
Yeah. You helped me fund it. Josh Pence helped me fund it. Another helped me fund it. But yeah, I've already identified my next Grail. So that I took care of that one. The next one is going to be a sideshow speeder bike and Luke from Return of the Jedi. There's a sideshow version of Luke from Return of the Jedi where he comes with all kinds of different ways that you can display him, and you can display him in his Endor costume. So Endor Luke on the speeder bike, huge moment for me as a child, seeing that on the big screen. So that is my official next Grail. And altogether, that's like a $600 piece. So
the question is, are you going to buy the 2 speeder bikes and also get the Scout Trooper?
I thought about that, but I'm like, no, I don't even have room for that. Because if you watch the views of that speeder bike, it's gigantic.
Is it?
It's huge, yeah.
Yeah.
So I have room for probably one. I'm not sure where I'm going to put it, but I'll find room for it.
Yeah, I've seen it once. It's about the same size as the USS Flag from the 80s.
Yeah.
I mean, it's massive. And
it's probably the same size as like the Legacy Millennium Falcon, which I also have. And I struggled to find a spot for that one, but it's sitting on top of a popcorn machine here. So.
Now the question is, do you take the Falcon down before you use the popcorn, or do you just let it sit on top?
I got to take it down because I think it's hot. I don't want
That's what I'm asking. That is awesome. Good. Thanks for sharing with us, Cincy, man. Because I know you've been wanting that for a long time. I mean, I'm trying to find some grails. Like you missed out, but let me show you the grail I got earlier.
Very nice. Oh, a 7.0 too.
Yep.
That's awesome.
Yeah. This is one of my grails I was looking for Reverent Comics at a high grade. You can find a lot of, crappier ones. I'm probably gonna crack it open and resubmit it though.
Oh yeah.
Because it's way past the 7.0. I looked at it already and they got an 8 or an 8.5. So it might go to CBCS instead. But yeah, I'm still after my grail and a toy, and that's a Fort Max G1 in a box.
Wow. That's going to be a tough one.
Yep. That's why it's a grail.
Yeah. I do have a Transformers grail right now too, but it's not that. I mean, it's expensive, but it's not like super high price. But it's a third-party Masterpiece scale Omega Supreme. Just because I always wanted Omega Supreme as a kid, and my parents were like, "Hell no, you're not getting that thing." So now was my chance to buy it as an adult. I'm not sure if I'm going to get the Fans Toys or I think the other one is Make Toys. I don't remember who makes the other one.
DX9. Go with the DX9 one.
Yeah, I've heard both opinions. DX9 looks more cartoon accurate and better articulation from what I hear. Yeah,
the DX9 transformation is a lot better than the Fans Toys as well. Now the problem is that it looks more like the toy version than the Fans Toys. The Fans Toys has a better cartoon aesthetic to it. So it depends on like which one you want to do. Yeah. Because like DX9, you can actually put the wings down or the tracks down and give it that old G1 toy look. You can't do that with the Fans Toys. Cool. So it's kind of you got to pick. I mean, and also DX9 is cheaper than Fans Toys too.
$270, I think. Yeah.
Yeah, you're talking $350 to $400. and going up, up, and up and up for Fans Toys version because they only do so many of them, then it's out, it's done, you know. But I got that one. I got the Fans Toys one.
Nice.
But yeah, that's pretty much everything this week. So yeah, I'll tag you and Rosie, Cincy, and the best of with the categories. So see what you guys think so far of it, because we need Rosie on here. I mean, I know he's Air Force. I'm retired Air Force, so he needs to get his butt in here. He's supposed to be retired anyways, coming up soon. So there's no excuses. So we got to beat him up in the chat. But yeah, that's all I got for tonight, guys. Go around the room. Kyle, do you have anything else tonight?
Nah, I think that's pretty much it. I don't think I have a whole lot of anything else.
All right, Cincy.
I have a mild spoiler. Today. This is Sideshow R2D2, or R2D2 as I like to call him. But yeah, so look forward to this one in a future video. But yeah, this is awesome. I've been messing around with this one for a while.
Hey, Cincy, can I ask you a question about that? If you lean yours forward, does the little front door automatically open?
Yeah, it does. It's kind of
okay.
You're supposed to use the magnets to open it up, but yeah, if you lean it forward, the little door's open. But...
Okay, mine does that. I wanted to make sure it wasn't just mine.
Yeah, it's all of them. I think that's just the way it's made.
Okay.
But I do like this one more than the Hot Toys version, just because you can display different ways.
He's got a ton of display options.
Yeah, it's awesome. I just like turning the lights on.
Oh man.
Hey,
see, this is a good part where I don't have room for Sideshow and Hot Toys. You know, in my area, it's the best part.
BJ, have you gotten your Yondu yet?
Not yet.
What was that? Sorry.
Yeah, I'm all messing up. Hold on. Let's see if it pops back on. There we go. No, I just finished painting it off today, so hopefully I can get it earlier than my actual payment. I just realized I got the deluxe version, so I guess I'm gonna have to buy Rocket Raccoon so I can give him the gun with that.
You're gonna love it, by the way. I'm just letting you know. Here's Rocket, by the way. I'm doing the repos on him. He was right to my desk. I took the arrow pack off because I want to pose him with Yondu, where they're on the ship and they're killing everyone. But you're gonna love Yondu. I will say right now, it's probably, now not counting the Hulkbuster, it's probably my favorite Hot Toys figure of the year so far. The face sculpt is ridiculously accurate. It's crazy.
Yeah.
So, good choice on that one.
Thanks. It'll be my first.
So, BJ, do you have anything else for the night, brother?
No. Glad we finally were able to get together. I know it's summertime, so lots of fun going on out there. And it's always fun doing these best of and getting to know other comic books, and especially helping out with the other viewers too, and all the members as well. So, and I'm glad I'm helping out people finding some of those deals on Amazon with the posting. I didn't realize that was going to happen. So that's pretty cool too.
That is awesome, man. Because I mean, that's what we're all here for. You know, the end of the day comes down, and we're here to help out everybody in our group, but just to help out anybody we can. I mean, I get 1,000 requests, you know, and it's funny, like you and Kyle and Cincy will tag me to do things, you know, like, hey, go ask Nate, go ask Nate, go ask Nate, and I don't mind. I really don't. I mean, that's what I'm here for. I mean, I've been doing comics for over 30 years, you know, and I like to help out anybody I can, especially when it's in grading, if it's a storyline or whatnot. I'm old, so I remember a lot of things from the 80s and 90s too, so it kind of helps out. But that's what we're all here for. We're all here to help you guys out. Announcement time. I will be coming to Cincinnati and Hamilton next summer.
Hell yeah!
Yes.
So I actually have family in Hamilton. They live in there, so I will be coming down. I talked to Pensy during his stream last week, and I'm glad I got you guys together so we can try to get something hooked up once I get out there.
Definitely.
I'm like 2 miles outside of Hamilton.
Yeah, it should be a fun time. I mean, my wife's never got to meet the rest of my family from that side, so we're coming out there, to spend time with family and stuff. But while I am there, we got to get at least a day or so, spend some time together because I want my wife to meet you guys, because you guys know my family. I'll have 4 kids by then, so it's going to be an interesting car ride from California to Ohio.
Oh, you're driving? Holy
Hey,
cow.
that's
I am driving because we're making a road trip out of it. We're going to go see Grand Canyon. We're going to see a lot of places in and around. So, yes, we're driving because, trust me, 4 kids trying to go through an airport when they're all under 5 or under 6 is fun. They can ride in the van, put the DVD on, and we're good to go. But no, I wanted to let you guys know. So I'm gonna start trying to plan some stuff. So definitely start. Probably we might have to hit Kokomo Toys again. Probably, I still want to see those shops you guys have out there, and make sure let trans fans and all them know that I might need some shipping help because I'd probably be some stuff. Because my stuff out here sucks. Frankenstein doesn't really have anything, especially Transformers wise. That's kind of the hard part out here. They got Marvel Legends, they're all marked up to like $30 per one for a brand new wave, so it's not worth it.
Lord.
But yeah, it's one of those things. So just wanted to bring it up, let you guys know. It's kind of the plan. June, July next year, I'll be up there.
Oh yeah.
BJ should come up too, and we could all do like a live Syndi-Comics stream.
That'd be awesome.
Ooh.
That would be nice.
Let me know ahead of time so I can get stuff.
I'm trying to think. June, is there a Comic-Con? You may. Well, I guess maybe Columbus Wizard World would be. I think that's usually June. But that's I don't know.
The biggest thing is I got to wait for my kid to get out of first grade. We don't get out of school here till the 2nd or 3rd week of June here.
Okay.
So it's all about timing.
Right.
Yeah.
There's that Ohio Toy and Comic Show that's in late June. I think it's like next week or so, or late July. I don't remember.
Yeah.
It's around June or July something. But yeah, I think it's in a week or so here.
Yeah.
Yeah. I got here. It's gone in June next year.
Well, you got the expo in September.
Yeah, so I won't be going to any cons this year. So I'm kind of busy in the house this year. So definitely want to take advantage of that next year when I get out there.
Sounds good.
But yeah, that's all I got this week, people. So thank you, Kyle. Thank you, Cincy. And thank you, BJ, for coming in. Definitely thank all the people out there in YouTube land. And I do want to give a big shout out to everybody in Syndi-Comics out there. Thank you guys for making this one of our best times I've ever had with comics. I do have one other announcement too. As you guys know, I do a lot of grading work. So a buddy of mine who used to write the Overstreet Guide in the 90s and 2000s might be making a special appearance soon. So we'll pick his brain a little bit too. And he's met everybody from Steve Ditko to Stan Lee to anybody under the sun. So we're going to be picking his brain a lot, probably. There'll probably be a history lesson, one-on-one on comics from him. But need to bring him in. He's a good dude, known him for about 2 years. So stay tuned. We'll see when we can get Rick on here. But yeah, just want to let everybody know. So
Very cool.
So from Syndicate Santa, everybody have a good night. Take it easy. Thank you guys for coming in. We had a great time. And then we will do best of 2018, complete full year in January. So take care, guys. All right.